Hello and welcome back to Pin My Podfic. This is Chapter 4, When Victory Isn't Enough, Part 2. And I don't know when this will be posted, but I'm guessing I will be also podficking the another only MHA one, since yeah. Now onto the chapter part thingy, yeah. Chapter 4, When Victory Isn't Enough, Part 2. The precise click of Dick's fingers on the panel echoed through the cavern, followed by a metallic awakening. Pistons shifted, internal gears rotated, and the med-bay system came to life with a low, steady rumble. Narrow beams of light swept across the room, reflecting off the rough stone walls and casting long, wavering shadows that made it feel as if the cave itself was breathing. The scent of heated metal ozone began to spread, mixing with the natural chill of the underground. Screens lit up in sequence, displaying lines of code and incomplete anatomical diagrams. Midoriya lay motionless on the examination bed, surrounded by articulated arms that hovered over him like silent sentinels. Every motion of the machines produced a hum or a sharp click, blending with the soft pulse of the sensors attached to the boy's body. At first, Wally stayed several steps away, silently observing, but as the holographic projections took shape, he moved closer. His eyes shifted between the lights and Dick's face, trying to read every micro-expression as his friend adjusted commands with near mechanical precision. The reflex of someone trained for years at Batman's side. It was more than a simple scan. It felt like an investigation, a silent interrogation where the subject was unconscious and the truth would come to light only through streams of data. Wally tilted his head slightly, studying Dick's focused expression. "So, what's the verdict?" he asked, his voice still rough, breaking the heavy silence. Dick didn't answer right away. He adjusted one of the sensors, synchronizing molecular resonance frequency, and only then exhaled softly. "This doesn't make sense," he murmured, frowning. His eyes narrowed, fixed on the screen, as if every number and graph were trying to tell him a secret he couldn't yet decipher. The cursor blinked, waiting for the next command, while green lines of data scrolled rapidly, showing readings that didn't match anything stored in the Batcave's database. He'd seen stranger results before. Rare mutations, lab experiments, even alien physiologies. But nothing, absolutely nothing, fit what he was seeing now. His fingers flew over the keyboard, filtering information, comparing it against hundreds of other scans from past missions. A crease formed between his brows. Wally, picking up on the shift in the air, asked, "Okay, is this the kind of silence that means you've found something really good? Or really bad?" Dick didn't answer. He leaned closer to the screen, enlarging a 3D model of Midoriya's torso. It was too clean. No scars, no fractures, no lingering micro damage. The kind every fighter accumulates over time, even the most protected. It was as if his body was built never to wear down. When he finally spoke, there was a weight in his voice, not pure shock, but something between fascination and caution. "Wally, I've never seen anything like this before." He gestured to the hologram. "His body is perfect." Wally let out a disbelieving laugh. "Perfect? Like Superboy?" Dick shook his head. "No, better. much better. He zoomed in, revealing internal structures, muscles, tendons, bones. No malformations, no old scars, not even a slightly misaligned bone or a tooth out of place. Everything is perfectly symmetrical, not optimized. He pointed to the projected muscle fibers. His muscle density is insane. There's a natural strength here that surpasses most metahumans I've seen. Wally's eyes widened. Like, Kryptonian level? Vic hesitated, switching to another readout: bone density and structure analysis. His skeletal durability is off the charts. I don't even know how that is possible for a human. He made more adjustments, running an additional scan with bioenergy sensors. And his metabolism is unbelievably efficient. It converts energy so precisely, it practically wastes nothing. Wally glanced at the unconscious boy. So he's like a superhuman? Not exactly, Dick said, frowning deeper. This isn't a mutation, and it's not genetic engineering like Superboy. He typed in a rapid command, splitting the monitor into 3 sections. In the center, Midoriya's full scan. On the left, the meta-human database. On the right, alien and mystical physiology records. One by one, Dick ran comparisons, relative strengths, bone density, muscle elasticity, regenerational rate. Nothing matched, not Kryptonian, not Martian, not Atlantean. It wasn't until he accessed a restricted file, marked with the red seal of Maximum Access, Wayne, that he found something close. The detailed scans of Diana Prince, Wonder Woman. Her hologram appeared beside Midoriya's, and Wally let out a low whistle. Okay, now I get why you've been so quiet. Vic's eyes moved between the 2 projections. The similarities were undeniable. The muscle fiber composition, bone density, cellular recovery rates. But there were subtle differences, as if Midoriya's body had not been shaped not by magic or divinity, but by some other force, something unknown. If Diana is what happens when a god decides to make a perfect warrior, Dick murmured, more to himself than to Wally, then Midoriya is proof another path can reach the same result. Wally stayed silent, letting it sink in. Dick leaned back, staring at the 2 holograms side by side. Wally, if he's not from here, that means there are other worlds where beings like him are common. Or, he paused, the words heavier now. Worlds where he's the only one. You're talking multiverse, Wally said, his brow furrowed. Maybe more than that, Dick replied, crossing his arms. The multiverse is still familiar. Alternate Earths, different versions of us. But what if he didn't come from a version of our Earth at all? What if he's from a place with no connection to it? A universe that doesn't even follow the same rules as ours? The silence thickened between them. Wally's gaze returned to Midoriya, still unconscious. His face relaxed, despite the tension in his muscles. If that's true, then he didn't just lose his friends and allies. He lost everything. Dick nodded slowly, and still, when the chance came, he fought for a world that wasn't his. For a long moment, they simply stood there, watching the boy. It was impossible to tell which burden was heavier, the one Midoriya was carrying here, or the one he would now have to bear. Dick hurried back to the console, closing the scans and locking all files under maximum security. We need to know more, who he is, where he came from, and why he was here. He stepped to the bed, resting a hand slightly on Midoriya's shoulder. A silent thank you. He's stable, Dick said, glancing at Wally. No risk to his life, and with his physiology, he'll recover fast. Wally let out a sigh of relief, crossing his arms. A hero from another world. And maybe, Dick added, one of the last we have. Wally stepped closer, hands in his pockets, gaze fixed on Midoriya's face. You know, I've seen a lot of people afraid. People afraid, Dick. Afraid to die, afraid not to make it home. Even afraid to fight. But him, he shook his head. It's different. Different how? Dick asked. But it's like he's carrying someone with him. Not physically, but here. Wally tapped his chest. Like every punch he threw, every time he got back up, it was because of a promise, for himself, but for someone else. Dick was quiet. For a beat. Promises. They drive us, and they destroy us. Wally nodded, even without knowing who he is. I think that promise is still holding him up, even now. They both looked at the boy again. Midoriya's face was peaceful, free of pain, yet his body still held a readiness, as if he might leap into the fight again at any moment. How old do you think he is? Dick asked. 16, 17 maybe? Wally guessed. Older than me, Dick muttered. And he fought like someone who's already lost everything before. He turned to the computer and began a voice log. File. Midoriya. Begin recording. Preliminary data indicates extra universal origin. Subject exhibits superhuman physiology with traits similar to mythological entities. Current status, stable. Subject stayed this Earth from an unidentified hostile threat. Further analysis required. He paused. But above all, he saved us. He ended the recording, the echo of his voice lingering in the cave. Wally gave a small, sad smile. He's not just a hero, Dick. No? He's proof there's still hope. Dick didn't answer. He only nodded, and together they remained there, standing over the boy from another world, who might just be the last spark of light left in theirs. And that was the end of chapter 4. Even when Victor... Wait, what was it called again? Yeah, when victory isn't enough. Part 2. And yeah. Dang, Midoriya really got that. I guess that kind of explains why he isn't breaking any bones in the series later on, because I haven't finished watching. I kind of stopped in right before I stopped at the school festival one where they are doing the band. No, after they performed, and before Midoriya gained black whip. So yeah, before the war arcs, I stopped. So I don't know most things. I just got spoilers too many actually, because yeah, I am chronically online. I can be very chronically online sometimes. And yeah. Midoriya really is the symbol of hope, even in the series. The All Might is the symbol of peace. But Midoriya really just brought hope to everyone and inspired everyone. Dang, he could be a really good inspirational speaker if he isn't already in the series. I don't know. And yeah. I'm currently I will be editing this using the 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 electronic device that my school gave me, and since this year I will need to be handing it back, so I really need to download all of my shit onto my other things before this my whole thing gets deleted. So yeah, you guys might get different quality by like next semester. Well, like by next semester I mean like next school year. So yeah, how that will be fun. You know, it's like one of the only reasons is because the storage on this thing is literally so optimized, because like I have so many hour-long recordings on this thing, and it's not even halfway full with like the space. So yeah, leaving you guys with this, and also check out the author Innocent with one N underscore reader. Or I shall. I can't really do threats on this, but anyways, or shall. Anyway, so like, or I shall, I don't know, I shall be in your walls. Yeah, no, yeah, especially you Americans. I shall be in your walls. I know your walls are made of plastic and wood. There's not even plaster in there. There's only empty space. And also that isolate an insulation thing that looks like cotton candy. I'd probably die because of that by some point. Anyways, bye.